I need to know something. You need to fill me in. Why does everybody hate you?
Um,
We need that intro.
I don't
Everybody
know.
hates Vara.
Because I'm opinionated.
What is going on where people are just blocking you on X? And who is Caitlin Roper, feminist activist and author of campaign manager of Collective Shout?
Yep,
Exactly who you
Caitlin
think she is.
Roper is an absolute lunatic. She's the campaign manager at Collective Shout, and she has been one of the primary women with this organization that has been fighting to get certain games banned, and of course was one of the major individuals that pushed for payment processors to censor developers and censor platforms like Steam and itch.io.
Give us a quick, like 30 seconds on Collective Shout and kind of their nonsense that they're pushing. Because I talked to you about this on DMs. Like, we've talked about this on the show, but I don't think we've done a good enough job of covering this. We've talked about the payment processor side, but give us a quick, like 30 seconds on it.
So, Collective Shout is a feminist organization that since 2009 has targeted previously male dominated spaces like video games. And of course, they didn't make any headway in the gaming industry during Gamergate 1. They targeted games like Detroit Become Human, Grand Theft Auto 5, titles like that, but it didn't work. So they kind of gave up on attacking gamers for several years. But I think that they saw Gamergate 2 and kind of the movement against censorship in the video game industry. And they said to themselves, we can get things censored. And now they're trying again and finding some success. And now, of course, we have a lot of censorship going on around the world. It's not specifically in the video game space, but we're seeing adult NSFW content being targeted because of rules made up by payment processors, credit card companies, banks. We are seeing over 20,000 games being removed from itch.io, and I know that slowly but surely they're adding some back, like the free NSFW content has been added back, but there's a lot, especially paid content, that hasn't. They have to go through each individual case to see if it could be deemed offensive or if it goes against these organizations' rules. And Valve has also done something similar. They removed roughly 1,000 games, and they're all stating that it is because of, yes, rules made by MasterCard and Visa, and even PayPal is a problem. So we're seeing a lot of censorship going on, and Collective Shout has kind of taken the, I guess, blame for it or the credit for it, right? They're saying, of course, that adult content being removed off of platforms is good, even if it is legal content. But they're saying, hurrah, we got this content removed and we're trying to protect women and girls, which, of course, it's never about protecting women and girls. It's about control and power. We see the same thing happening with organizations like Sweet Baby Inc. But Caitlin Roper is the campaign's manager. Melinda Tankard Rice is the co-founder of Collective Shout, and it's just a feminist organization based in Australia where censorship is rampant.
Right. It is king right now, and that's certainly what it seems like. So you've been kind of going back and forth with these folks. I mean, I know Savvy has as well. Savvy's been really digging in on these folks. They seem to be very good at playing the victim here.
Yeah. They definitely are.
Now, you talked about the credit card processors. There was actually an executive order that came down yesterday, and I saw your tweet about this. Give us a quick rundown of this as well.
So, oh boy, there's a lot here. If you want me to read it, it says this executive order came down today and it clearly states banking services can't be denied because of protections provided by the Constitution of the United States. It mentions companies have 180 days to remove any provisions from their terms of service that mention reputational damage to themselves due to the fact that they must provide all lawful citizens with banking services. Companies like Visa and MasterCard can no longer deny payment for something that, in their opinion, lacks artistic value, but it is legal in the USA, which Valve has pointed to their rule that outlines that sales of products or services that are patently offensive and lack serious artistic value or any other material that the corporation deems unacceptable to sell in connection with a mark are a violation of this rule. So yeah, Valve had called out MasterCard and said they are the reason why we are removing some of this content from the platform, but ultimately this means creators can't have funding sources ripped away from them over political opinions that are are deemed damaging. I mean, just a few days ago, right, we saw Arch have his PayPal account shut down. He has given a little bit of an update. They're trying to claim that it might have been a mistake, which press X to doubt, but we know that political censorship is definitely a problem across the world right now, and this is a way that is being fought against now. Obviously, this executive order isn't specifically about like a video games or what is happening directly with MasterCard and Visa in our space, but it does affect creators and developers, and it doesn't specify payment processors, but it does say banking and financial services, and you'd think that would cover processors. So it might come down to, the point that it doesn't specify someone has to sue, but this seems to give people grounds to do so. And while Visa and MasterCard are just payment processors, now there's a big wall that they would face if they demand things can't be purchased with their cards, because MasterCard can't tell a bank that they can't process payments for things like these adult NSFW games or even things like OnlyFans. They have to, or for a political figure that's been banned from basically every bank. They can't restrict them anymore. And if a bank refuses to process someone's payment and they say MasterCard has a toss, well, regardless of that, you have to process the payment now. So yeah, I mean, it is just an executive order. And it needs to be passed as legislation through Congress to stay in. And, its purpose is primarily to protect gun rights and right-wing politicians and commentators first, but it could also result in hopefully protecting anyone's right to banking services, no matter what, they are doing, as long as it's lawful. So it is a win.
Sounds like it. I mean, it sounds like for wrongthink, the idea, you see this all the time where people are, going back to Gina Carano, she was thinking incorrectly at the time and she got deplatformed from it, Yeah,
and I know a big reason why this executive order was a priority for Trump is because he himself has, gone through political censorship so many times, like so many, especially right-leaning, political figures. And this does technically protect everyone. It protects leftists, it protects conservatives, it protects liberals, it protects everyone, which is good. But I know that it was primarily, started because of right-wing politicians and commentators being censored.
Well, it sounds like a pretty good move. The idea of free speech and being able to talk about these things. I wonder how this is going to come back to collective shout at all, if it will. If it'll come back to some of the decisions that are being made there. So, Montesquieu says collective shout claims to be acting in the public interest, but then consistently hides from the public. Makes you wonder whose interests they serve. Also, love you, Vara.
Yep.
We have Mercenary says collective shout are just patsies. It all goes back to the hedge fund managers like Larry Fink and George Soros money. It's far deeper and darker.
Yep, 100%.
Do you have common sense? Well, if you did, you'd hit the subscribe button right here.